welcome to another episode of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards. Our next guest has been compared to Joe Satriani, meets Yngwie Malmsteen, with a touch of Bach and Vivaldi. Please welcome guitarist Kevin Estrella from Pyramids on Mars. Kevin, how are you doing today?
It's been awesome. Thanks for having me on. Excited to be here.
Sure, great to have you. Great to have you. So you've created some amazing songs with just some exceptional guitar work. I mean, it's just such a rich flavor of surrounding melodies and guitar solos. You know, tell us how the Pyramids of Mars project was born. Are you there? I think you might have locked up there, Kevin. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, can you tell us how the Pyramids of Mars project came about? How you started that out?
Yeah, it was something that was always dear to my heart to get into, start doing playing that was more geared towards what Joe Satriani was doing. You know, I've been in bands over the years. The band before that was Shatter Instinct, and we were very Tool influenced. So I did very little lead playing in that band, but I didn't miss playing lead. But after that band broke up, I wanted to start doing that I really enjoyed and loved, which was instrumental rock music, because I was really inspired when I first heard Joe Satriani surfing with the Alien, and I knew right then that that's what I wanted to do. You know, what I wanted to do with my life, and then play like that. So thus began years and years of woodshedding and practicing at high school. And, you know, we had a band back in high school, and I would play Satriani covers and be on my knees wailing and screaming on the whammy bar. And little did I know, like, you know, 2 years later, after my brother and I graduated from high school, people said, "Did you realize you and your brother are legends of our school, like music legends?" I'm like, "Get out of here." And like, "Yeah, people still talk about you guys." I'm like, "Really?" So I was really taken aback by that, you know?
Right.
Yeah, but you know, I really, with Pyramids on Mars, a lot of it's Satriani influenced as far as guitar writing style, mostly having a very rich, catchy melody. So, you know, I spent a lot of years studying melody and what goes into creating a very melodic hook. And I can do it now without even thinking about it. You know, I can pick up the guitar and play a melody, and you can remember it. So it becomes very natural now. But I was more influenced by Yngwie Malmsteen, and I really loved his playing. So I actually dedicated 2 years of my life to just listening to nothing but Malmsteen and learning his technique. I swear, I listened to nothing, no other music except for Yngwie Malmsteen for 2 years to really get inside his head to understand and learn his 50 bag of tricks, all his licks.
Yeah. And he's still amazing. I saw him here a couple months ago in Buffalo, and I was blown away. I wasn't expecting it to be the Yngwie of old from the 80s. You know what I mean? But he still has his chops and still sounds amazing. So would you say you're more self-taught, or you did some classic training, or maybe a little both?
It's a little bit of both. Most of it's self-learned, but you know, I grew up in a musical family. My father played trumpet in jazz bands all his life, and my first exposure to music was you know, Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, you know, with the trumpet player.
Right.
And I found that influenced songs like Interstellar. If you listen to Interstellar, there's a cascading guitar line. That's a trumpet line. I got that from Herb Alpert. If you listen to the song "A Taste of Honey,"
right?
Back to that. So that, you know, I've come full circle with all my influences, you know, even the stuff that I grew up on when I was 3 years old. But as I said, like for Malmsteen, I loved what he was doing, but then I wanted to learn from his influences. And that's when I turned to Bach and Vivaldi. And then everything changed. I was like hearing music for the first time. And I really studied the classical and understanding the the structure and theory behind classical music, and understanding how Yngwie Malmsteen thought. What's the relationship between the harmonic minor and the Phrygian dominant? I know it. So, and then I was more inspired by violin melodies and harpsichord melodies, and that really, especially with Vivaldi, and that was really where my real inspiration comes from. So whenever I pick up a guitar, I'm thinking about a violin melody, something that's very classical, and then I'll just create these melodies and I document them, and I've got a library of hundreds of them, and I created my own online guitar instructional videos, Pyramids on Mars, Lessons from Mars, that teach this kind of violin melody stuff that I do.
Yeah, and your songwriting is basically like telling a story purely through music, and you're taking folks like on a journey, just like you said with like what Joe did with like Surfing with the Alien, and things like Yngwie has done, throughout his career with all his different offerings. Obviously his was a little harder edge, harder core when he first started out with Jeff Scott Soto singing and stuff like that, but it grew into such a classical collaboration of things, and I see that's exactly where you're going and where you're headed, definitely. So what type of gear are you using to kind of bring some of this to life? What are you using for amps and effects today?
Oh, sure, yeah. I play through a YG, a Marshall YGM 800. What is it? YGM 900 from the mid 90s. That's my main amplifier.
Okay.
And then my distortion pedal is a Yngwie Malmsteen overdrive. That's the main juice of it. And I use a lot of wah. I have a Vox wah, and I get a lot of my tones from the wah. But I use the wah more like a filter, like how it uses it. So it becomes more of a filter. And you hear that in Interstellar. It's just subtle, but the wah is. And then the other pedals I use, I had that run through the effects loop. I've got 2 Wampler tape echoes. So they have a very Pink Floydish sound. Like I'm a huge, the album Animals was a huge influence on me. And so these tape echoes are what they used in that album. And that's what I use for my gear. I use that. Sometimes I use a delay as well. And then recently with I just added the famous MXR phase, or the Phase 90, the pedal that made Eddie Van Halen famous, that phase that he uses on like Eruption.
Right.
So I'm really digging that pedal now. It really helps cut through the signal to get this slow sweeping effect. It's almost like you don't even notice it, but it's there.
Right. It's just a little more subtle, right? Yeah. And from when you came out and did your debut project there, you went in the studio and you recorded this, you produced this, you did all the instrumental work on that, all this yourself, right?
I do everything. I play all the instruments, guitars, the bass, do all the drum programming. I play all the keyboards. There's a lot of people out there who they offer programs that are already pre-recorded drums, and then you just cut and paste. I've never done that. Every note that you hear in the drums is what I hear in my head, and I program that manually. So sometimes it'll take me 15 to 20 hours just to write the drums for a song because it needs to be right, So I've been in a band. I think as a musician, not as a guitar player. So I'm always listening to what the drums are doing, what the bass is doing, and its relation to everything. Like I'm a huge Rush fan. And so, what's funny, if you ever watch me watch a Rush live concert with my concert videos, it's probably the funniest thing to watch me because I'm air guitaring drums, bass, and guitar all at the same time.
Yeah, those guys are amazing. It was such a loss to the music world, losing Neil, and now that project will never be the same. That band will never be the same ever again. But he left us some amazing stuff for sure. I'm just amazed by his lyrics, the stuff they came with. But that's what amazes me the most about them. But yeah, I'm a huge Rush fan as well. So did you have experience in the studio going in to do all this, or there was this kind of learning as you were going, or how did that feel for you?
Yeah, I've actually done all of my recordings at home. So I use Ableton Live and a lot of VST plugins. I like a lot of analog keyboards. My first album, I really used the Moog a lot, and like the old mini Moog, I should say, and then a few other synthesizers for that. Trying to think of the programs that I used. Amplitude was the one I used in my first album for the guitars, and Tube is I use that exclusively for all the bass.
And then how did you change it up for the second album? So your second album was Echo Cosmic, right, in 2015.
Yeah, I switched to Guitar Rig 5, mostly for the leads for that album. I still use the Ampeg program for the bass, and still pretty much the same kind of keyboards that I was using for the first album. But things started to switch around for Edge of the Black, and I really was going more for choral sounding, because I was really getting influenced by Bach's and Mozart's choral pieces of work, where it's just vocal harmonies of male and female singing, and that's what I was trying to capture, and that's the only keyboards I was really using was using MIDI programs of actual real sampled vocal of chorals, and that continued off into the next album as well.
Yeah. So, a friend. I grew up with a friend of mine being a guitar player, and he would almost do the same type of thing. He wanted to be influenced by all different kinds of music, and sometimes he would listen to a lot of classical music for a while and check that out, and then he would change gears and maybe go to some different type of rock, or go to some different type of guitar players for a while and check some of that out. But definitely the classic is where it was all formed, to where it was created, and it was just kind of moved forward from there. But so we want to take a quick break, and we want to check out your video here. We got the song for The Ambassador. What can you tell us about this track?
Oh, this song is a real trip, actually. The idea behind it was a person is hired, or is basically assigned to be an ambassador for the planet Earth, and we've just established interstellar travel, and he goes through a wormhole to another world to discover brand new worlds that we've never discovered before. So he's an ambassador on behalf of Earth to these brand new worlds, and that's why when you'll see that in the music video too. Like you're going through the wormhole and stuff like that. So.
Excellent. Let's take a quick pause here, and we're going to check out the video for The Ambassador from Kevin Estrella here on Talking About Rock. Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock with Kevin Estrella. We just listened to the video for The Ambassador. Great stuff. So your latest album, you got Cosmic Angels. They're saying it's basically, the title is kind of what it would be like if you're like looking at flying saucers. They would be Cosmic Angels, right? That was the idea behind it, right?
That was the idea, yes.
So it definitely seems like, your music or your thought process behind a lot of stuff is sci-fi influenced for sure. And I think I might have caught you on a podcast where you were talking maybe about extraterrestrials or debating about that project. Is that something that's very interesting to you? Obviously, you're using that in your music. Do you have other influences for that too, and other things you research about that?
Well, actually, that is a whole other show on its own that could be going 5 hours because
okay, but definitely something that interests you and helps you kind of imagine what you want to do with your music, basically.
Well, it's kind of more than that. I actually have had many UFO sightings.
Oh, really?
And I have ongoing extraterrestrial contact on a regular basis.
Oh, okay.
So they show up here all the time.
Really? And where you're located in Canada, right?
Yep. It's kind of part of my mission, why I'm here. So this is the reason why I'm on this timeline, is to help awaken people to our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters who are trying to make their presence known. So they've incorporated a lot of the teachings. There are a lot of teachings that they've taught me that are incorporated into my music. Things like telepathic storytelling and tonal language, as in tonal language of the whales and the cetaceans, which was a download which was given to me several years ago, which you'll hear that in the song Nafwafan on Edge of the Black, where the main melody, there's actually a tonal language translation, which the melody is singing, "Do you hear me?"
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's obviously been something that's been on everybody's mind. I'm a big sci-fi fan, and I've always believed there has to be some other forms of life out there besides our own, and that would be so cool to actually, see some of that one day, and that you're bringing that forth in some of your music. That's just amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just great. So what can you tell us about the latest offering you have here, Interstellar? That's on the Cosmic Angels album, right?
Yeah, Interstellar was the last song that was written for Cosmic Angels, and that song, along with every other song on the album, every song was written in one take. So this is very important to know. I picked up my guitar, I turned on my phone, and the song just came together in its entirety from beginning to end, no edits. And I just had to learn the song and record it. And the same thing goes for Interstellar. I wrote that song in one take. So
awesome. That's excellent. So we're going to take another quick pause here. We're going to play the video for Interstellar from Cosmic Angels here on Talking About Rock, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock. Just checked out the video for Interstellar. Amazing stuff. So what I'm seeing also is you're getting a lot of attention here, a lot of radio airplay, US, Canada, South America, Europe, a little bit all over the place. That's got to be be amazing for you. It's got to feel great.
It does. You know, it's been happening for many years now with every release. I've had a lot of radio interviews and a lot of magazine coverage over the last couple of years, at least over 100 magazine interviews that have done stuff on my stuff. And the feedback has been really, really positive and flattering. One person said that the Echo Cosmic was the best seminal album since Surfing with Satriani, Surfing with the Alien. Some people have called
that's an amazing compliment, because that's like the masterpiece for him, right? That was like the album that kind of put him on the map, basically.
On the map, yeah. And then I've had some other people calling me which I like this one, the world's most what would they call it? Criminally unknown guitar player.
Well, hopefully that will change as the audience widens. It's always, definitely a little more difficult to break through with the instrumental guitar stuff. Usually you're going to get the core audience of the hardcore fans and musicians at first, and it kind of takes a while to break into the mainstream. And I think that's the kind of the same case with Satch. When he did Surfing with the Alien, I think that was more of a musician's album. But I think when he started coming up with stuff like Flying in the Blue Dream and stuff like that, that really seemed to be more mainstream for him. And I think all that stuff kind of caught on a little bit more after that. But so what's next for you? Are you going to see some more videos? Do we have some dates that you may be playing or touring, or what's on the horizon?
Yeah, actually, what I plan on doing in the very near future is having live Facebook concerts here in my condo, and getting those things set up, because I've got this whole place set up for a really, really nice light show to do.
Oh, excellent.
Banner drops. I've got stage lighting and everything like that, and plan on doing a really cool show here. And I'm getting put on a lot of Spotify playlists now through Shay, which is fantastic.
Yeah, she was excellent. Yeah, I spoke to her, and that's how we connected. Yeah.
And then there's 2 more music videos that are going to be released. 2 or 3. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 more music videos. There's a music video for Lufthansa, which shows about the secret space program history, the secret Nazi UFOs that they had.
Right.
And then there's a music video for Echoes of Peter Steele, which pays tribute to Peter Steele and Typo Negative. And then another music video for Dolphin's Paradise. So those are all going to be coming up in the next year.
Lots of stuff. So any club dates or any outdoor dates you may have coming up? Any clubs in maybe Canada or the States at all you're looking at?
Not quite yet. We're working on that.
Okay. All right, cool. So if folks want to know more about you, should they check you out on Facebook or Spotify? How should they check you out?
I would say the best place, follow me on Facebook, is the best place. Look at Pyramids on Mars. My website, pyramidsonmars.com. You can follow me there. And all my music is available, at Bandcamp off of my website. That's the best place to buy it. Or if you're, doing streaming, you can find it pretty much all streaming platforms. It's all there as well. So it's, I'm pretty easy to find almost, whether it's digitally or if you want an audio CD, but get the audio CD from Bandcamp. That's where they're selling.
Yeah. I've seen that on Bandcamp. Yeah, that was great. I've been listening to all your tracks for the last couple of days. Just amazing stuff. Really, I really love it. And wish you luck in the future. Thank you so much for taking the time and stopping by and chatting with us for a while. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you. Awesome. So you folks out there, if you want to know more about us, you have questions or comments, please feel free to email us at talkingaboutrock@gmail.com. Please like us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, subscribe to our YouTube channel for this interview and all our up and coming interviews. Kevin, again, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much. It's been great.
Thank you. Have a good night.